All right, so uh, let's press tab. Let's press the space bar to go to the four views, and I'm gonna go select the front view, press space bar again, and then I'm gonna go to view, image plane, import image, and I'm gonna locate the image that I wanted. So I'll pick this one right here. All right, but the bottle graphic is not in the center, so I'm just gonna select the image plane, press W, just drag it, just eyeball it. Doesn't have to be that accurate. There, and I go to my perspective view, and I'm just gonna move it on the Z axis, just a little bit outside the grid, right there. And I can lock this up by adding a layer over here. Create a new layer, select the layer, and while selecting the image plane, I'm just going to right click, add selected objects, and I'm just going to set it to R as a reference, so I can't select it anymore. Okay, and I go back to my front view, and from here we're going to use a Bezier curve. I'm going to go to create, curve tools, Bezier curve, and I'm just going to left click and drag. This one here doesn't have to be accurate for now, and I'll show you guys how to go back to the Bezier curve and make some adjustments. Okay, don't worry about that, we'll come back to that later. Excuse me. Okay, just gonna press enter. Okay, and to edit it, just gonna select the Bezier again, and I'm gonna go back to create, curve tools, Bezier, and now it will turn, and the points will turn blue. So once you select, once you hover on the point, it will give you the Bezier handles right there. Once you have the Bezier handle, you could left click and select it, and it will move both arms. If you want to move just one arm, you press Control, and then you can move the other arm just like so. Okay, and make some minimal refinement. Select it, especially right here on the transition from the body to the neck. You can select it, press Control, just like that. Okay. Again, pressing Control to move the Bezier handles independently. Okay. And if you're a beginner to this one, to zoom in and out, is just press Alt, right click to zoom in and out. Alt middle mouse to pan left and right when you're in the front view. Okay, so that is okay right there. I'm just gonna press Q, okay, to go to the selection tool, and I'm gonna go back to my perspective view, and I have my half design of the bottle. And for the beginners who just started Maya, to navigate on the interface, Alt left click is to orbit around, orbit. Alt middle mouse is to pan, and Alt right mouse is zoom in and out. Okay. All right. So now you have your Bezier design, half of the bottle. You could then go to surfaces, go to revolve, and select the option box right here. Okay. And under the option box, you just need to select the cubic, or surface degree cubic, curve range complete, output geometry should be polygons there, type should be quads, tessellation should be general, and the rest is just the default right there. And I'm just gonna press revolve, and it will give me a really primitive shape of a bottle. So all we have to do is go over here in this right area in the channels editor. If you don't see this one, you could, maybe you're here, right? So you could just select the channel box layer editor, or you could press Ctrl A right there, and you select the NURBS tessellate and the inputs, and on the U number and the V number, that's where you need to change the values. So usually I've done this one a few times, so I'm just gonna set it up to 30, and I'm gonna set I'm setting the U number to 30 and V number to 20. Okay. Or you could also hover your mouse on the number, and you could drag the values like so right there. Okay. You could hover your mouse on the number and just drag it if you want. Okay. So now I have my wine bottle, and after this one, I always go to edit, delete. I usually go delete all by type history. Just delete everything right there. And I'm just gonna delete the Bezier curve since I don't need it anymore. And for the image plane, I'm just gonna select the V to make it, to hide it. Okay. And I'm just gonna double click on the object, and I'm gonna name it wine bottle geo. Okay. If you want, you could edit this one right here, but for the sake of tutorial, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Same here. Okay, I'm just checking on some of the edges. Okay, I think we need to edit this one right here. So it's gonna go. So again, to edit the wine bottle for the beginners, you select the water bottle, the wine bottle, right click. You could go to edge, and as you hover your mouse to the edges, it turns red, and you just double click it. You could press F just to focus on the edge that is selected, and you could go to bevel right here. Make sure you're on the modeling. You're in the modeling mode, poly modeling, select the bevel right there. And then you could have some choices. Adjust the fraction right there. For the segments, I could use 2. Okay. And I think I'm good over here. And to exit, just gonna go to object mode. Maybe I need to just adjust a little bit of this. Okay. I'm just gonna pull it down just a little bit, like so. Since I'm trying to hide the transition from the wine cap to the bottle cap. Next thing you need to do is press 3 and see to smooth out to go to subdivision mode. Just press 3 right there. To go back, you could always press 1. Okay. 3 is subdivision mode. 1 is go back to the model, the basic poly. Okay, and that looks all right. That looks okay. Okay, but I'm gonna press 1 again because now I'm just gonna go to delete by type history, and now I'm ready to make a UV map for this bottle. So to make the UV, I usually just switch my workspace to UV editing right there, and as default Maya will give you a very basic a UV map right there, which is okay. Yeah, we're okay with that, but I want mine to be a little different, customized. So I'm just gonna move my bottle like this, and I'm gonna go to UV, and I'm gonna go planar. Okay, and I'm gonna select camera as project from. Okay, and I always check this one right here, keep image width height ratio and insert projection. Okay, I'm gonna apply project, and now I have a UV map here, and now I can make my scene customized. I can customize my scene. To customize your scene, let's look at the bottle first and see. Okay, we could do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my object mode, and I'm gonna go back to my edge mode like so, and I'm gonna go to UV. I'm gonna use the 3D cut and sew UV tool. So you can just, it's a very easy tool to use. You could hover an edge. Why is it I can't select the, why can't it? Or we could just you know what, let's exit that tool first, and let me go back to my edge mode. I can't select it. Interesting. Let me try this one. Grow. Okay. I'm just gonna deselect this one here. Let me delete by type history. Okay, so I'm gonna go to UV. I'm gonna go to UV, 3D cut and tool. I'm just gonna select this area right here, and I'm just gonna double click. Okay, and then it will automatically create a seam. And I'm gonna select the bottom, this one right here. Double click right there. Okay. And what else? This one right here. Let's create a seam right there. Do I need to create a seam over here? I was thinking, you know what? I don't have to. Okay. So now I can just press F11, then right click. I'll go to my selection tool, right click, and object mode. Okay, that's how you exit the 3D cut tool. From there, you go over here in the UV toolkit, you go unfold and just select unfold, and it will give you it will unfold the wine bottle. So I'm just gonna right click it, go UV shell, and I'm just gonna rotate it like so. This one right here is the wine cap, so I need to resize it as much as I can because I need to have a nice texture over here. Okay, I want the textures to be clear on this one. And the water bottle, I'm just gonna adjust it. Here, this one is the bottom. Okay, you can resize it if you want. Let's try to resize it too. It doesn't have to be big. Okay, and you could select this one right here, shaded, and if when you select shaded and it turns red, that means you need to flip your UV. Okay, if it turns red, you just have to select it. You could go to transform, you could go under tools, and you can just select this one, flip. Okay, if your UVs are red, but my UVs are okay, so I'm good. So I can, so let me try to straighten the UVs here. Let me double click this edge right here, and I'm gonna straighten my UVs. I'm gonna straighten my shell right there. So that will be okay. Maybe resize it some more. See if we could maximize the space in our UV, in our UV 0 to 1 space right here, 0 to 1 space. And also you could turn on the checker map to make sure that you are not occupying another 0 to 1 space right there. Okay, you could check it over here. Okay, that's it's not a perfect UV per se, but for the sake of tutorial, I'm totally okay with it. Okay, just gonna go back to object mode. Then I need to go back, switch to Maya Classic, and I have to delete all my history right there before I'm gonna export this to OBJ. Just gonna go edit, and I'm gonna delete all by type history, and I'm gonna go to modify. I'm going to freeze my transformation. I can even reset my transformation, and that will put my transform back to the origin right there. So everything looks good, everything is ready. And I forgot to save. Okay, so I'm gonna go File, Save Scene As. Just gonna go to my Maya file, and I'm gonna name, oops, again, go projects. I'm just gonna name this file wine bottle tutorial. Okay, save it like so, and now I'm ready to export it as OBJ. Okay. I'm gonna go File, Export Selection right there, and go to the option box. Make sure that you have an OBJ here. Okay, but before I export it, let me exit this one right here. If you don't see your OBJ, you could always go to Windows, Setting Preferences, Plugin Manager. Okay, and you scroll down and look for the OBJ right there, OBJ export.mll, and you just have to check them both, okay, to have your OBJ export option. So let's go back to export selection, OBJ export, and I'm gonna hit export selection, and it will, and choose whatever location you want. Okay, I'm just gonna type wine bottle geo. Okay, I'm gonna hit export selection, and now if you look at the here, you could say that you exported your wine bottle geo successfully. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Marie and texture the water bottle. So I'm just gonna close this one. Takes a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna open my Marie. Again, for those who are still new to Maya Marie pipeline, this is a introduction on how to navigate between two softwares. Okay, so to start, just have to go to File, select new, and it will give you the new project pop-up. So name the project wine bottle. Okay, I'm brand new project wine bottle. Maybe I'm just gonna add a underscore right there. And I'm gonna locate my geo. Projects, stuff, tutorial, minor files, wine bottle geo. Press open. Okay. I'm gonna go to my channels, and in the channels, I just need the base, the specular, the roughness, and the bump. Okay. And later, as we move along, I'm going to show you guys how to add another channel for the transmission map. So that is set. And what else? For the size, I'm just going to keep it 2048 by 2048. 2048. Like so. And the depth will be 16-bit is okay. And the color settings and the lighting, we don't mess around with it. So you're all good. Okay, geometry, and after that, just hit create new project, and it will load the OBJ. Okay, and to navigate in Mari, you could go to you go to preferences, edit preferences, and you could go to navigation, and then the control type, just you select Maya right there. Okay, just that's how you could use Maya to navigate. So Alt left click right there to orbit, Alt middle mouse to pan left and right, and Alt right mouse button zoom in and out. Okay, and you could select F1 as flat shaded, F2 is there's a light but there's no spec, but F3 there's a specular. Okay, so you could toggle F1 to F2, F3, and I usually like to paint on F2. Okay, some people like to paint F1, some people like to paint F3. I prefer F2, and that's just my preference. And over here, you could toggle from ortho view. You could toggle on perspective view, or you could toggle ortho UV. Okay, and I usually start from here, ortho UV, to show the wireframes. You could press Shift W, show the wireframe. Okay, toggle Shift W. You could find your objects here, wine bottle right there, and to start, I always like to turn on my channels. Right? And if you click channels and then you move it outside, the pop-up view will disappear. So to make it not disappear, you need to lock it. This one right here. Select the channels, and now it's locked. So you have the base color, you have the bump, you have the roughness, and you have the specular. Those are your channel names. I prefer them short, so I just gonna name them like base, bump, rough, and spec. Like so. And let me add an underscore right there, underscore. Okay. Mari is a little heavy when it comes to the memory. So sometimes it uses a lot of your memory. Okay, so we will start by painting a base material for our object. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my base, and on my layers right here, you will see that I have a default base color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to delete it. Okay, and it will show me the checker map. That means there's nothing on it. So I can first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a procedural color, which you could find over here. Add procedural layer. Click over there. I'm going to go to basic, and I'm going to add a color. Okay, and it will give you the default white color. Okay. But I want my bottle to be dark. Okay, maybe green. Okay, let's try green like this. Green. Okay, and I'm gonna right click, and I'm gonna add a group layer on it. Okay, I'm gonna create. It's like adding it in a folder. Okay, adding a group, and I'm just gonna double click it, and I'm gonna rename it as wine bottle. The color group. Okay, I can even copy this one. Double click, paste it. Okay. I love to name the layers and the group properly. Okay, so now we have a color on our bottle. Next is we need to have a logo. Okay, so I need to have a logo over here. So I'm just gonna create a layer, and I'm gonna double click it. I'm gonna name it wine bottle logo. Okay. I'm gonna right click it, and I'm gonna group layers, and I'm gonna name the layer wine bottle logo group. Okay. So let's bring in an image to paint on the wine bottle. Okay, so I'm just gonna click my image manager right here, and under projects, and on the open image, select it and locate your image. You know what, before that, let me create I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to create a PNG image with an alpha, okay, because it is better to paint a logo with an alpha channel. Okay, so that, Control Shift I reverse, press C. Give it a little bit of space. Control Shift S. Save it as a PNG. There. Just miss wine. And name it wine logo. Yeah. Now I can close it. I can copy the link. Go to my image manager. Open image. Okay. Then I can select my wine logo PNG. And I have my wine logo over here. So now we're ready to paint. All I need to do is select my wine logo and drag it on the interface. So I decided to paint on my UV interface, and I'm just going to release it like so. I can close this right here. I can minimize the channels. So now we dragged and put our logo over here, and it's a little distorted. So I'm just gonna click reset image right there. And down here, there are some commands that you could use. Radius is R, rotate W, opacity O, squish is Q, scale image, control shift, move is shift, rotate image control, and you could also use a stamp command to paint the image. So I'm just gonna press shift to move it. Okay, control shift, left click to scale it like that. Okay, and you could rotate it, but before I'm gonna paint this one, I'm gonna make sure that since my UV is a little curvy, so I'm just gonna paint it straight right here. Okay, I'm gonna paint it straight from the ortho view. Okay. And try to, okay, that looks okay. And let me press 1 first, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think 2 is okay. Just gonna move it like here. Okay, and then you need to select the logo. Okay, be careful in painting, because sometimes when you're selecting here and you try to paint, you can't paint it. And you make sure that you're on your wine bottle, and also in the shaders, make sure that you're on the current channel. Okay, right here, current channel. And now you're ready to paint. Just left click, paint it. Okay, but we don't want it over there because it's a little bit near the seam. So I'm just gonna press Control Z. Okay, I'll go back to my paint tool, and let me try to rotate it. I think it's here. Okay. Let me try. Okay, I think that's it right there. So I'm just gonna this one here is you'll be painting on the using an image. This one here is you're painting using color. Okay. Just gonna line it up. I'm painting on my ortho view because my UV map on the wine bottle is a little curvy. Okay? So when you paint that one like this, okay, now you have it at the center of the UV map. So once you're done painting, you need to press B to bake it, okay, and then press Control Shift second. I forgot the command. Okay, so you need to press B to bake it, and then Control Shift C to clear the cache. Press B, Control Shift C. Okay. Let's try to do it again. Okay. Paint it. Okay, once you're done, press B to bake, then Control Shift C to clear the cache. Okay, so when I hit P, go back to my go back to my selection tool. I'm gonna rotate it, and now the logo is sticking to the bottle. Okay, the best thing about Mari is you could turn it on and off. Okay, right there. Now the next thing is we need to give a color on the bottle cap right there. So again, I'm gonna create a new layer, name it wine bottle cap, right click, add group. I'm gonna name it wine bottle cap group. Let me check. Okay, still recording. Okay, so while selecting it, I'm going to my paint, and I'm gonna double click the swatch, and I'm gonna pick something that is grayish dark brown, grayish dark brown. Okay, and just left click and drag, left click and paint. Okay. Oops, and you need to press B and Control Shift C to clear the cache. Okay. So now we just colored our cap, colored our bottle, and paint our logo. Now we can call it done and export it out, but we're gonna add some few textures that will add a little touch on our geo. Now we could, maybe this wine bottle is old and it has a damage on it or something. So let's try to add some damage. Okay, so we're gonna paint some different damages over here on the bottle. So I'm gonna click my layer, make a new layer, and name it wine bottle, not damage, but dirt. Okay, wine bottle dirt. Okay, and you could drag it on top of the wine bottle like that, like so, and you could group it, name it wine bottle dirt group. Okay, so now we have that. Go to your paint. Okay, okay, and when you could start painting, or you could press K. Okay, when you press K, then you will see some brush menu. Press K, you could go to basic brush, you could go to hard surface brushes, organic brushes. There's a few brushes here, so let me pick this one right here. Okay, you could increase the radius like that. I'm just gonna put 40 on my radius. Opacity is 100, and flow, yeah, maybe flow is okay in that part. We could start painting the some nice old, maybe not that one right there. Maybe change the color, maybe darker green. Could go like that. Let's pick another brush. Or how about if we make a procedural color, okay? Basic color, and I'm gonna pick this color right here. So I'm gonna delete this one. Okay? So now we have a procedural color, wine bottle dirt, and we just need to add a mask stack. Okay, but we need to add it on the group. Okay, mask stack on the group, select the mask stack, right click. Mask stack is used to if you want to add a layer mask on a specific group. So I'm gonna use a layer mask to reveal a dirt because you have more control in it. So I'm gonna delete this one first, okay? And I'm gonna add a procedural color, basic color, okay? And I'm gonna change that color to black. That means it's zero opacity, okay? I'm gonna name it wine bottle dirt mask black, okay? And I'm gonna add a layer, and I'm gonna name it mask white, okay? So we're gonna make sure that you're selecting the mask white layer and make the color white, okay? You could hide it, and you could use a different brush to reveal the dirt. Let's try, I always like, let's try this one. Nope, that doesn't look good. How about this one, sand blast, okay? Okay, I think it is best if we move this one to right here, okay? Make sure you select the white layer. So now, it will affect, press B, Control Shift C. Okay, so now we have a little dirt on the bottle. I don't like the stretching here, so I can always go to the mode and clear. Okay, and I can always clear this one up. Press B, Control Shift C. Okay, and I switch it back to normal again. Okay, and you could repeat the process. You could tone down the flow. You could increase the radius, maybe 45. Okay. You could paint it like so, there. Okay, press B, Control Shift C. Okay, just adding some dirt all over. Press B, Control Shift C. Okay. We could also add a dirt over here, but let's press F1. Okay. We could start here. Okay. It's gonna be a dirty bottle. You know what? I don't like that. So I'm just gonna start painting over here. Okay. we're basically painting the mask, so thus revealing the color that we just created, the wine bottle dirt. Okay. I'll press B, Control Shift C, just rotate. Okay. This is going to be an old bottle. Okay, sometimes you need to paint on your UV map, sometimes you need to paint on the ortho view, depends. Okay, press B, Control Shift C. Okay. Press B, Control Shift C. So now we have a rogue stroke over here, so you can just go to mode, switch to clear, okay, and then you could paint out right there. Make sure you press B again, Control Shift C, and switch it back to normal. Yep. So we have that one right there. We could add maybe here dirt. Okay, maybe the dirt. So a lot of dirt here. Paint some dirt here. So it's fun, you know, painting in Marie. Okay, like that, and then we'll go here. So I guess I just need to put the wine bottle dirt all the way to the top. Okay, right there. Open the mask stack, select the group. Okay. So we could affect the dirt that is integrated to the bottle wine cap and the bottle itself. Press V, Control Shift C. Okay. Press B, Control Shift C. Press B, Control Shift C. Like so. You could even add a little dirt over here. Press B, Control Shift C. Press B, Control Shift C. Okay. You could also, if you're too close here, you could also press F to center the object. So now we have an interesting dirt that covers the majority of the bottle. You could even make it add more to it, by adding a different type of brush. Let's see, maybe this one right here. And you could do it by decreasing the flow. I could go like that. Okay. I could type 75. Maybe bigger. Oops, that's too big. Yep, maybe this one. Okay, I can even press W to rotate the brush. Add a little randomness. Press B, Control Shift C. Okay. Just make it as random as you can. Press B, Control Shift C. B, Control Shift C. So this is adding a secondary detail on your dirt. You know, make sure that it doesn't look repetitive, especially with the strokes. Control Shift C. Okay. Have that. If you want, you could even add it here. Control Shift C. Maybe 140. Okay. Rotate the brush. Check. Okay. That's fine. Press B. Control Shift C. Oh. Press B. Control Shift C. We could even add some over here. Okay. Where else? We could add something here. Okay. C, Control Shift C. Control Shift C. Control Shift C. Okay. And make sure that you save it. Okay. So now we have it. So let's add a different texture to the cork. Is this called a cork? Okay, how about we, let's see, let's add a procedural, maybe fractal, maybe noise. Let's try cellular. Okay, and in the cellular, I'm just gonna reduce the size. Okay, like that. Mm, like this. Okay, and the colors. Mm, the colors will be okay. So let me see if I could switch it to multiply. Let's see what happens. I just want a certain blotches on the cork, which is okay. I could switch the color to grayish. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is the, I'm gonna drop this one just below the dirt. There. Okay, and I'm gonna group it. And let me go back to normal since we group it. And I'm gonna name this group as wine wine cap wine cap texture group. Okay. Okay. And from there, let's create a mask stack. Okay, so select the group, create a mask stack, and in the mask stack, make sure you lock it, delete it, make a basic color, and make it black. Okay. And make another layer. First rename this color as wine cap texture mask black. Okay. The layer will be white. Okay, so while selecting that one, you could minimize it. Then you could go to your UV and make sure that the color needs to be white. And you could slowly nope, that's not what we want. Multiply. Huh. Maybe it's the wrong, so let me layer mask, remove mask stack. Okay, so maybe we need to mask stack here on the wine cap texture. Normal right there. If we switch this one to multiply, does it change? No, it doesn't. Let's go to basic brush, select this one. Oh, I see. I think it's the brush. Okay, so now it's working. Okay, just like so. Okay. You press B, Control Shift C. Now we have a nice cork texture. So let's rename this one as wine cap mask black. Okay. This one is white. Okay. Then we can close it. Make sure we save. Okay. Press F. So we have an interesting texture of the bottle. Okay. Now you could add damages or scratches on the water bottle, but I think for the sake of tutorial, we'll proceed and export the textures and import it in Maya. But before that, let us make, so we have the base map right there. So we need to make the bump map. So if you look at the bump map, there's nothing in it. Okay. Let's delete the default from the bump map. Okay. Go back to the base, and over on the right side, you have the stack. So just move the base map right there and make sure you locked it. Go back to the bump. Okay. And what we can do is we can basically copy all these properties to the bump map. So this is the base, this is the bump. You could select a group, okay, and you press Control Shift, left click and drag, and then let go of the left mouse button, and then it will give you the basically copy the colors over here. Okay. Now you will notice that there's a chain right there. That means it means that it's linked. So whatever you make changes in here, it will make it will affect the base. So to do that, I'm not gonna make any changes over here. So to cut the link between these two, I'm just gonna right click and group it. Okay, once you group it, and then now you don't see any link over here, and let's just name the group as wine bottle color bump. And we could right click and add some adjustment layers. Let's try saturation, like that. Okay, because we want as bump map, we want it as black and white. Okay, so we just we could even, but we'll see. This one is fine for now. Let's go to the wine bottle group. The wine bottle group is we don't really need the whole. I think we can. Okay, so let's see. Let's select the wine bottle group logo. Control Shift, left click and drag all the way to the top. Right there. And just select it, right click, group it, okay, and name it as wine bottle logo bump. Okay. We could right click, add adjustment layer. Let's try saturation. You could even add levels. Okay. And we could turn everything into white. Okay. So okay. So now we have the logo, we got the color, a bump, we got the sticker. Now we need the cap. Okay. So just again, select the wine bottle cap on the base. Press Control Shift, left click and drag. Put it on the top. Okay. Now you have that. Select it. Make sure you group it to cut the chain. Then you can type it as wine bottle cap bump. Okay. Then you could add saturation. Okay, adjusted the saturation. Then I think that's basically we don't really need this one. So you know what? We could actually delete that one right there. So we don't really need a color. Okay, since we're doing a so let's try dragging the wine cap texture. Okay, let's see. Control Shift, click and drag. Let's see what we got. Okay, I think this is better. Okay, so that's the bump map right there. Okay, I'm gonna group it. Okay, I'm gonna say wine bottle cap bump. Okay, and yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, that's perfectly good. So that was the texture, wine cap texture. And then we're gonna drag the wine bottle dirt group. Okay, Control Shift, left click and drag it to the bump all the way to the top, right there, and group it. Okay, group it, then name it wine bottle dirt bump, and desaturate it because we only need the black and white information. Okay. This one we need to make it a little bit brighter. Okay, so brightness, just have to make it brighter than okay. Maybe the sticker is a little too bright. So let's see if we could tone it down. Maybe add a brightness. Okay. That is better. Okay. So now we have the bump map. that. Okay, so if we switch to if we go to base, that's the base, that's the bump. Then let's go to the rough map. Okay, let's create a rough map. A rough map is a map that takes away the specularity and the reflectiveness of a certain surface. Okay, the more roughness, the more value of the roughness, the blurry, the specular, and the reflectiveness will be. Okay, so on the roughness map, a white value is more is it becomes rougher. Dark value is less rougher. Okay, so while on the rough channel, you delete the default, okay, and open the base right here. Okay, this is the base, and again select the wine bottle color group, Control Shift left click and drag. Okay, drop it like so, group it. Okay, to cut the link, just rename it wine bottle color rough, and add a saturation. Okay, and rough, I think this is okay. That will be okay. So let's go to the wine bottle logo group, Control Shift left click and drag. Okay, group it, type wine bottle logo rough. Okay, I click add adjustment layer, saturation, add some levels, okay, that's the rough. And I think, yeah, the brighter the value, the rougher it is. So paper is rough, so don't need to have a gray value in it. So let's go to the wine bottle. I think this one right here. You just need to switch to wine cap texture group. We have that. Group it. You can name it wine bottle texture rough. For this one, you just have to maybe brightness, slide down. Well, it's gonna be rough though. It's not gonna be reflective. So that will be okay. I think this is okay. Okay. And then the dirt group, Control Shift left click and drag. Okay, then just group it, name it as wine bottle, dirt, rough, add a saturation. Okay, let's check on our recordings. Say, okay, we're still recording. And add a brightness. This one is rough, so I guess we need a little brightness on it, like that. Maybe. Okay, let's see. All right. So that is our rough map. Okay, go to the bump map. Kind of the same, but rough is a little brighter. Okay, just gonna save it. Now we're gonna create spec map. The spec map is the controls the specularity and the reflection of your bottle. So let's delete the base, the default, and just drag, just copy the one from the base, Control Shift left click, drag it all the way to the spec map, and then you just group it, name it as wine bottle color spec. Okay. Add a saturation. Now on the saturation, I think the color is, we need to have it brighter. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a new adjustment layer. Okay. The spec needs to be brighter. Okay, since it's gonna be shiny, like that. Now the logo, okay, let's copy the logo. Let's group it, name it wine bottle logo spec. Okay, this logo is paper, so it's not necessarily to have a spec. So let's add saturation. Okay, and desaturate it. Let's add levels. Now you could turn it all the way black. Okay, and you could add a brightness. Just crank up a little bit of the brightness. Oh, not really. But this one is okay since paper doesn't really have a spec, so we don't need any shininess on the paper because it's matted. So I think black is okay. And then we need to have the texture of the wine cap. Control Shift, left click and drag all the way to the top. There, group it. Say wine bottle cap spec. Okay. So let's evaluate this one. So we don't really need any shininess to it because it's a cork. So what we can do is add levels. Okay. I'm just gonna make it as dark as I can. Okay. We have a little error over here, but that's fine. We could edit it. And the dirt group, Control Shift left click and drag. Okay, and group it. Name it wine bottle dirt spec. Add saturation. Okay. Also, this dirt doesn't need any specular, so I think we're good in this one. Yeah. Okay. So now that we have our base, bump, rough, and spec, we need to create a transmission map. But I think transmission maps are used to control the transparency of the bottle. Okay? The wider the value, the more transparent it becomes. So to do that, let's add a channel over here, okay? And name it underscore trans, here 2048, 16-bit half, that's okay, and press OK. Okay. Then we have a new channel, okay? And just like everyone else, you could delete the default, okay? And copy one by one, Control Shift drag, group it, type wine bottle color trans, add saturation, okay? And let's add brightness, and we're gonna make this one white, since, well, not really too much white, maybe a little, maybe grayish. A little gray, not too much, maybe like this. There's a little bit of transparency, but not too much. Okay. Then we go to the logo. Make a group. Wine bottle color. Now this is logo trans. Okay. Same thing. Add saturation. Add levels. Let's make it dark. Okay. Then we go to the wine cap texture. This one, let's group it, name it wine cap texture trans. Okay, this is gonna be not reflective, so we'll just need to add a brightness, go all the way dark. And the dirt is maybe, wine bottle dirt trans, add the saturation. Maybe the dirt is not is maybe I think it's black, yeah. It doesn't need to have a opacity because it's dirt. It should be black, like so. Yeah, like that, and then save it. So now we are ready to export. So you could close this one. You could switch back to the base. There, there. Save it, just in case. Okay, so to export the map, all you need to do is select an empty space over here in the channels, right click, and go to Export Manager. Okay, on the Export Manager, you go to the export route path and go to your desired folder location. I'm going to go to projects, YouTube, and I'm going to, that will be okay. Choose there. So all of my maps are checked. I only have one geo, so that is fine right there. 2048. So I want an EXR, so that's okay. But what I want to do is I need to type a $sign. Okay, see that one there, the object name. I need to have an object name, so I'm going to type $sign entity. Okay, I'm just going to copy it and copy it to all my channels. Okay, there. So everything looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to export current, and then at the bottom you will see that it is slowly exporting. Okay, we can always go back and forth and refine the textures. Okay, so but for the purpose of tutorial, we're just gonna make this one like this. Okay, and I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna close it down because it is a lot of memory usage. So I'm just gonna refresh and go to and open my Maya. Okay, so this is the usual pipeline that I do from Maya to Mari and back to Maya. And we're gonna plug in all our texture maps. Okay, so oops, let's wait for, sometimes it takes a few seconds for Maya to really start going. While waiting for that one, let's check our so let's check our maps, see we have what we have. Okay, so our maps are good. So let's go open our wine bottle. Okay. Okay, we have our wine bottle over here. So now let's before we plug in our textures, let us set up some lights. Okay. So to do that, I'll be using Arnold renderer. So I'll be using Arnold lights. Okay, I'm gonna go to Arnold lights area light. Okay, and I'm gonna name this one as AI key light. Okay, this will be my key light. Press D to rotate. You could scale it up if you want. Okay. And you could press D to duplicate. Rotate. And this one, you could name it as fill. Okay, fill light. And you could also duplicate it again. Rotate. And name it as rim light. Okay, so you have 3 lights: key light, fill light, rim lights. Okay, and let's add a sky dome. Okay, Arnold lights, sky dome. Okay, and let's add a camera. Create, go to create, cameras, just select this camera right here. It's just going to be a simple camera, and to view the camera you can just go to panels, perspective, camera 1, and you could adjust however you want. Okay. Also, we could go to our display render settings. Make sure you're on using Arnold renderer, and on the render camera just switch to camera. Okay. Presets, let's switch it to, for now let's just do HD 720, which is, you know, just for tutorials. And in the Arnold renderer, I'm just going to use the default settings right here. Okay, and that is perfectly fine. So now I can save it as a different file. Let me go to computer, I'm gonna make another file just in case it crashes, and I'm gonna put a resolution gate, or you know what, I can, how about if I change it, switch it to 720 on the width, 720 by 1280. So I'm gonna go 720 1280. Okay, and now we have more space to render. Okay, water bottle. I'm gonna select my wine bottle, right click. I'm gonna go to assign new material. Okay, I'm gonna go to Arnold shader. I'm gonna select AI standard surface. Okay, I'm gonna go to AI standard surface tab. I'm gonna name it AI wine bottle shader. Okay, and from there, on the base weight, I'm just gonna switch it to 1. Okay, and on the base color, I'm gonna select the square, the checkered square, and I'm gonna go to File, Image, the File Attributes. I'm gonna go Image Name, click the folder, and I'm gonna copy the location here. Okay, and I'm gonna find the wine bottle geo base. Okay, press OK. You could click the sample tab right there. Okay, and go back outside. Select this one here. Okay, so we have that. And to view the texture here, you just have to select this one, textured right there. Or you could press 6. Okay, so before that, let's okay, I think we're all doing good so far. So let's go to the specular color. Okay, let's go to specular color. Go to File, Image Name folder, find the specular map, this one right here. Okay, click the sample thumbnail, go outside. Okay, that's our specular. And let's go to our roughness. Specular roughness, go to File, Image Name folder, Wine Bottle Geo Rough, open, click the thumbnail, go outside. Okay, and let's plug in our bump map, which you could do it here in the geometry. Okay, and under geometry, bump mapping, there's a checkered square right here. Select it, go to File, and you'll be given 2 tabs, Bump 2D1 and File. So under Bump 2D1, change the bump map to 0.1. Okay, because if you put it to 1, it's going to be very, very strong. So just 0.1 is okay. And on the File, now you could go to Image Name folder, look for the bump. Okay, that's the bump. Open, select the thumbnail. Okay, go back to Bump 2D and click here to go back outside. So we have that. We plug that in. Now we need to plug in our transmission maps. But before we plug in our transmission maps, okay, let's click our geo, and on the wine bottle geo shape right here. Okay, from your AI wine bottle shader, go to wine bottle geo shape, and under Arnold, you need to uncheck the opaque. You do this when you're texturing a transparent object. Okay, and make sure that under under Arnold renderer, you need to have your transmission on right there. Okay, so while selecting the wine bottle geo, okay, let's save it first. We could go to our hypershade. Okay, go to our hypershade, and you know what? Before that, let's plug in our transmission. You know, see what happens. Okay, so transmission. I'm gonna put weight, file, image name, and I'm gonna select transmission like so. Okay. Now you don't see anything here yet because we need to adjust it on the hypershade. So while selecting the white bottle geo, go to hypershade, okay, and go to graph material, okay, and in the transmission right here, you see the transmission right here, it is connected to alt alpha. If you switch it, if you drop down the alt color and you switch alt alpha to alt color R, and now your transmission map is working. Okay, same as the rough same as the rough map from out alpha, switch it to out color R. Okay. And I think that's all that we need to do. Everything looks good. Okay. And I'm just gonna close it. Okay, let me go to utilities and just update the TX files. Okay, and let's check on the key light. Let's put it to amber. Let's try the intensity to 1000. Fill light. Let's try to make it blue. 500 will be okay. And the rim light, let's try to make it 1000. Okay. And the sky dome, under camera, let's try to bring it to 0, the visibility. So let's try to render, see if this one works. Okay, so it's working, yeah, a little bit. So let's try to refine it some more. Okay, I'm going to select my geo and I'm going to press 3, okay, to smooth it out. And under this, so let's try to find an HDR map. Okay, let's go to our internet. I'm going to type free HDRI images. Okay, I'm just going to click HDR maps. Let's try indoors. Oh, this was nice. Okay. So how can I download this one? Can I just save it? Oh, I can just save it. Okay. All right. So let's plug it in our Sky Dome. So in our Sky Dome color, select it, file, image. Okay. Open. And our camera, you know what? Let's just put it to 1 right there. And let's crank up our key light samples to 3. Okay. Fill light, sample 3. Rim lights, samples 3. AI Sky Dome, sample just 3. Okay. Save it. And let's go to our Arnold renderer. Okay. So it's actually looking pretty good. Yeah. So if you look at it, our bump maps are working. Our transparency is definitely working. Our transmission, our bottle cap right there looks fine. We have some issues right here, but we could fix it. We could go back and fix it and refine it. But as for tutorials, this is for beginner tutorials and definitely worth a try if you can. We could refine it some more. I can make another part 2 tutorial on how to refine the textures and fix the UV maps and maybe add a damage on the sticker here, you know, and maybe add some wooden tables and maybe a wine bottle cup. You know, we could add a lot of those. But for now, this is the end of the tutorial, and I hope you learned something. And don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. And thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.